although we are very lucky that we get sent a lot of equipment for free to review, we still do have to invest a lot of money back into the channel to make it successful and to help it grow. Like, and I'm not trying to sort of dismiss the fact that we get sent stuff for free, because that obviously the channel wouldn't be possible without that either. But, you know, the reality is, honestly, sim stuff aside that we have to buy for the channel, I have not spent a cent on anything for myself that's indulgent in well over 3 or 4 years. Like, I just don't spend money on myself. Every single spare cent that I have is either saved towards, you know, buying a bigger house hopefully soon, that we can build a bigger studio that's separate from the main house to take a bit of the pressure off my wife. Because at the moment, you know, she's having to keep the kids quiet while I'm filming, which is just not practical for her. But yeah, every single spare cent that I have is either put back into the channel or saved towards things that will ultimately help grow the channel. And that's not a, you know, that's not a complaint at all, but you know, I think sometimes it's hard to sort of, it's difficult for people to sort of see that perspective.
Off the pace.
Overall sub goal, I mean, I don't know, I don't have a goal where it's like, once I reach this number, I'll be happy. Like, it's not like I'm, you know, you got to remember that I never expected this channel to grow to as big as it is now to begin with. Like, I mean, I started it as a passion project and as a, you know, professional and personal development project to sort of push myself out of my comfort zone, develop my skills. And, you know, if people watch the videos, that's awesome. So yeah, I mean, like, obviously my goal right now is to get to 100,000 as quickly as I can, because that unlocks a lot of other opportunities as well. Like a lot of things like, you know, brand sponsorship that isn't related to the content, you know, stuff like that becomes possible when you get to that 100,000 subscriber mark. So it makes everything else a lot more sustainable as well, because one of the big issues with, you know, doing YouTube as a full-time job, and also when you have employees as well, like I'm responsible for my family's welfare. I'm responsible now financially for my brother and his family to an extent as well, because obviously I'm, you know, it's my wage that I'm paying him that supports his family and keeps food on the table for him, and those are big responsibilities. And YouTube is a really, really unstable income generally, because you're relying on affiliate, you know, you're relying on affiliate links and all those sorts of things, and those can come and go, you know, in the drop of a hat. Like you can have, like we had 3 months almost where the FANATEC affiliate system just wasn't working properly at all. And, you know, we went from earning a decent income from that to earning nothing. And, you know, there's nothing I can do about it. So
1.8 off the pace.
I've had to sort of build up a lot of savings and, you know, have a decent sized buffer so that when things like that do happen, we can survive it and the channel doesn't die. Because we very, very, very nearly lost, well, we wouldn't have lost the channel, but we very, very nearly towards, right at the start of the pandemic last year. So around this time last year, I was still working, doing contract work on the side. And that was kind of my bread and butter, and anything that I earned from Boosted Media basically just went straight back into the channel. And it wasn't paying my wages, it wasn't feeding the family or anything. My other job was doing all that. And yeah, every single cent that I earned from the channel was just going straight back into equipment, you know, all that sort of thing. But then I lost my contract right as the pandemic hit. And literally the same week that I lost the contract was the week that sim racing just exploded. And pretty much overnight I went from, you know, my income from the channel went up by like 5 times. Like, it was just absolutely insane. And suddenly I found myself in a position that was completely unexpected, where I was able to actually afford to survive purely just off the YouTube channel and the income that generates. You know, and the majority of that was through, you know, the affiliate links and stuff like that that you guys help support. But the thing with affiliate marketing is that, you know, it is very sporadic, it is very seasonal, and it's not very reliable. And especially with the way that I've kind of approached it as well, I've tried to do it in a way where, you know, I'm not pushing products, I'm not being biased, I'm not sort of trying to shill any individual product, but basically it's set up as a way that, you know, you guys can support the channel if you wish to do so. And that's why every single video I always disclose if it's an affiliate link, or like all my web pages, it's all fully disclosed. And I mean, you have to do that for legal reasons anyway. But so many companies, you know, and so many people, not so much YouTubers, but so many websites don't disclose when you're clicking on an affiliate link. And I've always sort of wanted to have it in a way that it's, you know, it's a way that you guys can help support the channel if you find the content valuable, rather than something that I would, you know, trick you into clicking. Like if I do a review video, I'm going to tell you, hey, there's an affiliate link down below. If you guys want to help support the channel, it's great if you use that link. But I'm not going to just put a link there and not tell you. So, you know, that does make it difficult. So yeah, hopefully having those sponsorship opportunities unlock at the 100,000 subscriber mark will hopefully help make things a lot more sustainable and a lot more, I guess, reliable. Because another thing I don't want to do is, you know, have sponsors for content that is you know, related to the content directly. So, I mean, obviously, like, I'm not going to have a review of a FANATEC product where FANATEC are the sponsor.
Off the pace.
You know, that would just be completely a conflict of interest. But, you know, if we can have, you know, I guess things like what Jimmy Broadbent does, I think he's a good example, you know, having NordVPN sponsorship, things that are useful to the community and are relevant to the community but not related to the content. I think that's where I would be interested in doing sponsorship type stuff. And I mean, one of the things we've done, we do have sponsorship from SimuCube now for the streams that we're doing for these Porsche Esports Super Cup races. And I was happy to do that because, you know, it's relevant to you guys. But again, it's not a review video, so it's not directly related to the content. Like, I'd only ever do that on racing videos. But making sims for a business, yeah, look, I get asked about that a lot, and I think it's a tricky one because I'm already working, like, you know, 18 to 20 hour days, 7 days a week, just to produce content and do all this kind of stuff. If I was to, it's a mindset thing, and it's hard to, a lot of people don't get it, but I'll try and explain it as best I can. So if I take time out of my day to create an online shop selling sim racing products or start selling rigs or something like that, two problems happen. So the first problem is instantly I lose credibility, because if I'm reviewing gear and presenting myself as an unbiased gear review channel, but then selling the products that I review, then that immediately destroys my credibility as far as I'm concerned. Like, you can't review a product and also sell that product. Like, it just doesn't work. So instantly that creates an issue, and I think that would delegitimize a lot of the content, which then limits the audience growth. And then the second problem is if you're selling stuff, then you have to deal with logistics, you have to deal with stock, you have to deal with customer support. So I would have to increase my overheads massively. Like, at the moment, I have very, very little overhead other than just equipment and, you know, paying wages and stuff like that. Other than that, you know, it's not like I'm having to pay for packing materials, I'm not having to pay for warehouse space, you know, all those kinds of things. Whereas if I start selling products, immediately
2.2 seconds.
I have to do customer support, I have to have stock, I have to deal with returned orders, I have to do all these extra things. So that creates, I guess what I'm trying to say is it creates a glass ceiling where you only have so many hours in the day where you can work. So if I can fulfill 40 orders a day, I might be able to earn, you know, a really decent amount of money from that, but I'm never going to be able to earn more than that without upscaling. And then as I upscale, then, you know, we have overheads, we have staff, we have all these extra things that you need. So you're always going to have that glass ceiling with that kind of business model. Whereas the approach that I've taken with this channel is the amount of work that I have to do stays the same whether 10 people watch a video or 10 million people watch a video. So I don't increase the amount of effort relative to the audience. And what that means is that as the audience grows, more people are, you know, wanting to support my work, more people are making donations, more people are joining through Patreon, more people are becoming channel members, more people are using the affiliate links by choice to support the work. And that is, you know, that's infinitely scalable, essentially. I mean, obviously at some point you are going to reach a point of saturation where there's no more people that are interested in the content, and that's fine. But, you know, we're way away from that. So the way I see it, I'm far better off putting all of my effort into producing content and providing value to the community. And then, you know, naturally as that occurs, the income goes up from that organically rather than sort of having to peddle products and that kind of thing. So, I mean, I can see in the comments there somebody's mentioning Darren and his what he's done with Inside Sim Racing. I don't have a problem with that because he's being open about what he's doing, you know? I think if he was... I mean, I've spoken to Darren a couple of times years ago, and I'm aware of a lot of the drama, and I'm aware that a lot of people, you know, have feelings about him that are quite strong, and I don't want to enter into all that because it's none of my business, and I don't know, you know, I know the stories that people have told me, but I don't have personal experience. But, you know, to his credit, he has been very upfront and very clear about what he's doing. He's not trying to mask it as something else. And, you know, I respect that. I do obviously think that, you know, it's not something that I would personally do because of the reasons that I've just described. Like, I think that it will severely limit the growth of Inside Sim Racing in future. But, I mean, if that's what he wants to do and he's happy doing it, then, yeah, I mean, if he can earn a living from it, then fine. I don't have a problem with it, as long as he is being open about it. And so far from what I've seen, he has been. So, yeah, I'm certainly not. When I say that, I hope people don't think that that's a, you know, a direct shot at his business model, because it's not. It's just I like to do things differently, and this is what works for me and my family. So I hope that makes sense.
Sector 1 is 2.4 seconds off the pace.
But yeah, the only time I have a problem with people, you know, blatantly advertising products and making videos that are blatantly, you know, I guess, and we've talked about this many times before, blurring the lines between what's an endorsement and what's a review is the problem, right? If you're doing a review, it needs to be a review. It needs to be, you know, unbiased. It needs to be just your opinion, and that's it. No, you know, as little subjective stuff as possible. An endorsement video is something completely different, and that's not, you know, not something that we do on Boosted Media. But to use Darren's videos that he's been doing recently as an example, those are endorsement videos, and he's been completely open and upfront about the fact that they are endorsement videos. So I don't have a problem with it. Where I would have a problem would be if he was calling it a review and then, you know, presenting something as a review which isn't a review. But that's not what's been happening. So yeah, I don't have a problem with it. Anyway, let's do some more laps here, I think. I kind of went on a bit of a rant there, but hopefully that gave you some valuable insight. I think that, you know, I think it is valuable for you. I know a lot of you guys are, you know, thinking about or starting YouTube channels and stuff, and these are the kinds of, not issues, but these are the kinds of challenges that you guys are going to be facing as your channels grow. And I think it's, again, it's a way, you know, talking about these things and sharing these experiences with you is a way that I can kind of, you know, help support the community as well. So hopefully you guys find that insightful and helpful.